Hello, good afternoon. Most welcome to GBC News. This news here with me, Theophilus Sampa. Let's start off from the capital, Accra, where from January 1, 2022, Ghana's Rent Control Department will enforce the determination of rent for potential tenants against determinations made by homeowners. This was the message at the department's first ever news conference on Friday in Accra.
Assessment and recoverable rent and rent increase are important and major functions of the department under Part 4, Sections 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 18 of the Rent Act 1963, Act 220. The Public Relations Officer, Mr. Emmanuel Bosu, asked landlords, apartments and private hostel operators not to demand more than 6 months rent advance from tenants or face the full rigors of the law.
Rent here is something that has been assessed by a rent officer, the magistrate, or the minister. So you cannot sit in your premises and determine any rent you like without notifying the rent control department or the rent magistrate.
The department also cautioned property owners to stop taking rent advance in foreign currencies, especially in dollars. This year alone, Rent Control has carried out 333 educational programs through media sensitization to explain its mandate to Ghanaians. They are calling on Ghanaians to report landlords who flout the rent law to the department for appropriate action to be taken. Mr. Kwasu, however, urged tenants to be responsible at all times and to stop being a nuisance with immoral and criminal activities in their rented apartments. He also warned that there is no free rent for tenants, as some believe is an obligation of the landlord to give tenants 3 months grace period after rent date expires. The department has 58 offices across the country, except the northeast and the Savannah regions, whose offices are almost ready to open to the public. The department says it has seen a lot of progress in its operations since 2019 and has touted it as its greatest achievement ever. From January 2016 till the first half of 2021, 112,603 rent cases were lodged to the department, out of which 86,453 were settled, representing 76.78%, and 4,864 cases, representing 4.32%, have been referred to rent magistrates for consideration.
To the Garden City, Kumasi, the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation and its partner, Rockshore International Company, will soon commence work on the Yinyini Impasaso bauxite mine in the Ashanti region. Senior officials of the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation were at the Menchia Palace to announce plans for the commencement of work to the Ashanti. Utumfo Seitu, the Ashanti Hene, was optimistic the bauxite will not just be mined but will also have a refinery to process the mineral resources locally for better economic value.
For many years, the chiefs and people of Ninahin and adjoining communities have been waiting for operations to start on the Ninahin bauxite mine. Operations at the site will also create direct and indirect jobs for the people and hopefully improve on infrastructural development in the area. Last month, government announced that Rockshore International, a wholly Ghanaian-owned firm with a track record in mining and engineering, as a strategic partner to the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation to explore and determine the actual quantum of bauxite deposits within the Ninahin Mpasaso area located within the Echumamponua municipality of the Ashanti region. The visit by the joint delegation to the Menchia Palace was to announce to the Asantehene of their intended plans for the mining site. Otumfo said to express confidence in the capacities of the joint team to develop the Mpasaso bauxite deposit site into a viable economic operation to boost Ghana's fortunes.
Ghana social responsibilities at the Musia, who might be a man and unmanning Grasifon and a horse or a commerce. Bonnie, Obama said the Bay Jumedia, the Ashes say, a fair Kufiti, saying, Yen baby, I don't know more. Ye can, you bauxite and a crowd do a warranty as you could do. Can they free mode, dear? It is a quite by home. To your barn as a Yapan was here, query no more this kind of my. They said the Empire Bonnie, and I have a boy yet, he say, and you will be crow bit obey my hand. mpaebɔ na wɔsi ɛbɔ ma adwuma no yɛ yɛma nyinaa nanom nyinahi na yi mu bɛkasa akyerɛ nnipa wɔ nyinaa sɛ ɛhyɛ fam a yɛntuyɛ no yɛnya ho hwee yɛn nnɛ yɛ yɛnyɛ obi a wɔbɛtu ne nnuro baabi ani yɛkɔgyan sɛ fa weibra yɛn mmɔ mpaeɛ sɛ de bɛyɛ adwumadie no bɛyɛ yie na afei yie na yɛtu ampa a ɛhɔ deɛ ho ɛsosɔ deɛ na aso obiara so bi na aso obiara so.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development, Mr. Kwesi Oseje, described the Ashanti's endorsement of the project as a step in the right direction to fully tap into the economic prospects of bauxite deposits.
We've been selected to partner GIADEC to develop the resource, part of the Ninahin resources. So to start with, there are a number of things that you do in any mining project. First is to carry out mineral resource estimates. So we'll estimate the quality and the quantity of bauxite that we have in the area that's been assigned to Rockshore International. That's the joint venture between Rockshore and GIADEC. And once we have done that, then the next thing is for us to put together the arrangements for the joint venture company that will seek the mining lease for us to put together the whole program. So not just mining, but mining and refinery, to be able to go to Parliament or to any other authority that will require permission from to be able to execute the work.
Research shows that bauxite mining at Ninahin could last for over 150 to 300 years and is estimated at $45 billion.
The Wasa Association of Communities Affected by Mining have called for more dialogue with host communities in new mining operations, as well as areas that would be affected by onshore oil production. The Associate Executive Director of WACAM, Mrs. Hannah Owusu Krantin, said the country has over the years disregarded the free, prior and informed consent principle, making it difficult for their concerns to be addressed. She made the appeal at a responsible mining forum on promoting community participation in mining resource exploitation in Accra.
So they have a special place in all the discussions that we're having, that they have information to make informed decisions based on the free, prior and informed consent. Again, we have situations where mining companies, after polluting the environment, externalize the cost to the state. And we are not able to really assess the cost of environmental pollution in the country. A time has come when we should use the polluter pays principle in conjunction with the free, prior and informed consent to get companies to be accountable to the state and the community people, to ensure that when they leave the country, they are not going to leave it in a mess that we find ourselves in. And that at the end of the day, the state will not have to go and borrow or receive grants that would have been used for education to restore the environment because mining has destroyed the environment. These are things that are happening in the country. And I think that is good money that would have gone into the development of the human being, but it's being channeled into cleaning the mess of industries that make profit at the expense of the state. And we're going to borrow to clean their mess. And that is not right. That is not justice.
Let's go back to the Ashanti region, where as part of his tour, the Ashanti region President Akufo-Addo has inspected the Dako Farms processing factory at Atrima in the Atrima Nwabieja North District. The plant was built under the government's flagship program, One District, One Factory initiative.
On day 2 of his 4-day tour of the Ashanti region, President Akufo-Addo first granted a radio interview before visiting the Dako Farms Poultry Processing Factory. The Managing Director, Mr. Samuel Dako, briefed the Trade Minister, Mr. Alan Chemating, about their operations. Mr. Chemating was hopeful that the processing center, the processing plant, will help boost the economy. President Akufo-Addo also inspected work on the J. Akufo Senior High School at Daba, also in the Atrima Nwabieja North District. He later called on the Ekropong Hime and his elders at Ekropong Nana Piasafo Kantanka appealed to the president to consider the reconstruction of roads in the area. President Akufo-Addo promised that the road will be constructed soon. At Ajura South, the president inspected the Boakye to Tanosu Road, which is under construction. The project, which is being undertaken by MS China Geo, is expected to reduce traffic congestion on the N6 highway. He also inspected the Creative Arts Senior High School in the Kwadaso municipality. At Tridia in the Achuma district, where the president inspected the Ohumase Tridia Road, the contractor, Asabia Constructions, explained the artistic drawings of the road.
The Omanhin of the Drobo traditional area, Okuchiredom Sechi Ako, has eulogized Ghana's first Prime Minister, Dr. Kofi Abrefa-Busia, for being the only leader to introduce a clear-cut policy for rural development. He therefore advised the current generation of leaders to take leaves out of his book. Okuchiredom Sechi Ako was speaking at the Busia Memorial Lectures Asunyan in the Bono region.
Kofi Abrefa-Busia, a renowned academic, was Ghana's Prime Minister from 1969 to 1972. The memorial lectures in his honor was instituted to perpetuate his memory and what he stood for, as well as how the current generation can emulate his attributes and achievements. Speakers included a Deputy Minister for Finance, Mr. John Kuma, former President John Kufuor, and the MP for Tishan South, Mr. Martin J. Mensah Kosa, the Omanhene of Drobo traditional area, and Vice President of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Okuchiredom Sechi Ako, said the political and academic exploits, as well as the humility of Dr. Busia, made him a shining example to the youth of today. He said he was a true Democrat who had a deep respect for the Constitution.
As we commemorate Professor K.A. Busia today, let us all reflect on what we also can do to enhance our society for the benefits of the present generation and posterity, such that in future we shall be remembered by our works.
A UK-based lecturer, Nanakusi Apia Busia Jr., spoke about Pan-Africanism and how Dr. Busia related to it.
The maximalist position, that is the ultimate of Pan-Africanism is about, is to create one union government where the sovereignty of every state is surrendered for one entity we call African Union.
Copies of the book about Dr. Busia were presented to students from the tertiary and secondary schools who attended the lectures. The day was climaxed with the laying of wreaths and planting of trees near the statue of Dr. Busia at the Jubilee Park in Sunyan.
The Ajura Traditional Council has expressed satisfaction with the recommendations of the three-member committee set up by government to investigate recent disturbances that led to recent deaths at Ajura in the Ashanti region. The Traditional Council, however, urged the government to speed up implementation of the recommendations in furtherance of ensuring peace in the municipality. Ajurahene Berima Osei conveyed these sentiments when he addressed a grand deba at Ajura to climax this year's Yam Festival.
Sɛ eduba bi na ɛkun ba baabi a ɛyɛ ntɔkwa ba baabi a ɛyɛ den ti na ɛyɛ ntɔkwa no ba mpanyinfoɔ bɛpata ntɔkwa na abusa sɛ ntɔkwa no ɛyɛ dɛn nti ukyerɛkyerɛ mu no na mpanyinfoɔ ɛfa mu aba nti recommendation na committee no ɛde aba ne deɛ bɛrima ɔsɛhwɛ deɛ a metoso me no adwira he me ne me mpanyinfoɔ ne adwira man recommendation nyina yɛde tum na yɛka kyerɛ aban sɛ ne white paper no ɛnyɛ ntam wɔ so na da roma na implementation bi a wasu bia no yentu ho na mo intenten na ni kine ya na yentimi mfanye adwuma na adwura emfa ne ntema papa no emfra.
The Ghana National Gas Company has scheduled a planned maintenance shutdown of the Tuabo gas processing plant starting Monday, the 4th of October. A statement from the corporate communications of the company says the scheduled temporary shutdown, which will last between October 4 to October 18, 2021, and the shutdown will allow the team of engineers to undertake a routine maintenance of the Ajura plant to improve its capacity of continuous productivity and prolong its lifespan. Key benefits of the maintenance was to enhance operability and reliability of its processing and transportation infrastructure. The statement said the outage was consistent with their shutdown planned by its upstream and downstream partners. All key stakeholders, including Ghana Gas, Talu Oil, ENI, and Volta River Authority and MLE, have put in place the necessary mechanisms to reduce the shutdown duration from 48 days to 14 days. Managers of the plant say all stakeholders that assured all stakeholders that the team will be working with partners to ensure the system's stability during the shutdown period and maximize impact on power supply. An 11-year-old pupil from the University of Cape Coast Basic School, Angela Amankwa Ahen, has raised the flag of Ghana high by placing third at the just ended World Spelling Bee competition in Dubai. This makes him the first African and Ghanaian pupil to win this prestigious award.
11-year-old Angel Ankama Ahen is a Class 6 pupil from the University of Cape Coast Basic School, North Campus in the Central Region. He emerged winner during the inter-schools competition in Ghana and represented the country on the world stage in Dubai. The 11-year-old boy won the Africa Zone competition and placed third in the world stage of the Spelling Bee competition. By this enviable feat, Mr. Ahen becomes the first African and, for that matter, the first Ghanaian pupil to win this prestigious award. He received a certificate of participation, trophies, among other prizes. He was welcomed by pupils at the University Basic School in Cape Coast. Some of his mates were excited to see him.
So I feel proud of him. So please, I know that he has done well, but all the struggles that he went to, he did well. But all I can say is, well done, well done. He went through a lot of struggles, but all I can say is that I can't express my gratitude for him.
He was passionate about this. He was trying every time he was learning to win this. So I was supporting him and helping him every day. So I say he has done well.
His father, Reverend Ahen, thanked GBC Radio Central, the regional minister, and the university for their support. The head teacher of the University of Cape Coast Basic School, Mr. Victor Addison, encouraged young pupils to achieve higher academic laurels by learning from the example of Angel Ahen. The management team also paid a courtesy call on the management of the University of Cape Coast and the Central Regional Minister, Madam Justina Marigold Asan, who disclosed that the Coordinating Council will continue to support brilliant pupils to help them achieve more laurels for the country.
In today's Citizen Journalism report, Raymond Ariaga from Dom and Accra neighborhood has sent in this disturbing video of an overloaded electricity pole at the Dom market. The situation is so chaotic that one cannot determine which electrical cable or electric cable connects to which structure or which originally belongs to the fixed meter, with several wires lying precariously over one another.
This chaotic scene in the heart of the Domi market is clearly visible to any visitor to the Domi market. This electric pole with a fixed meter is connected to several outlets. The concern of many onlookers is the fact that This is a recipe for disaster. As disturbing as the situation is, sellers in this area are not perturbed and carry out their day-to-day activities without a care. Even though the Domi market is one of the popular markets in the Ghana East municipality for both wholesale and retail trade, whenever it rains, the traders say the market becomes inaccessible. Conditions at the market are insanitary, to say the least. Some traders display their wares on the ground, also a risk to health. Tricycles, popularly referred to as prajia, are also in the thick of things, competing for space with both traders and buyers. The construction of sheds in the main market to provide shelter for traders began over a year ago, but at a snail's pace. The metal sheeting used to cordon off the area is falling apart, the danger from which both traders and buyers are concerned about, since many have had their clothes torn and suffered bruises.
A two-day capacity building session for staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is underway in Accra. Participants from across the operational regions of the corporation will be introduced to new ways of reporting through modern technologies.
The capacity enhancement sessions will expose the participants on how to handle emerging demands related to their field of work, especially with the advent of new technologies in news reporting. The Deputy Director of Television, Mr. George Lomoti, says the training will make the reporters more effective and efficient on the job.
Technology helps us in the way we do things. So clearly at the moment we are taking advantage of everything available to us to make it easier for our news reporters to be effective and more efficient on the job.
The Western Regional Director of GBC, Mr. Alfred Hughes, commended the management of GBC for bringing staff up to speed on new ways of doing their work. He described the training program as timely, especially for those who report from the regions.
Very timely, and potential is going to be beneficial to the regions in terms of building synergy. We know as GBC and working as a team, we need to synergize so that at least our stories as a public service broadcasting corporation would find some kind of productivity, and we see how we can serve our clientele, which is the people of Ghana, in a more productive, beneficial, and public service oriented way.
The capacity building program, according to the Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, remains one of the key priorities of the management of GBC because it is fundamental to achieving the objectives of the state broadcaster.
We now recap some past week's headlines and pictures. We'll be right back with more. Please stay.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
A la carte. And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votrasia at that time of the morning?
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.